There are monsters in Tamriel. Beasts, tyrants, mad gods, but there is only one being feared across every realm. Not because he kills, but because of what he does before the killing starts. Molag Bal does not seek worship. He seeks ownership. He does not want your loyalty. He wants your submission, your body, your will, your soul. And the most terrifying part? The Lord of Domination believes suffering is not cruelty. To him, suffering is purpose. This is the dark truth behind Molag Bal, the most horrifying Daedric Prince in Elder Scrolls history. In the world of Elder Scrolls, evil comes in many forms. Some Daedric princes represent madness, others embody destruction, deception, or chaos. But Molag Bal represents something far darker. Control. Absolute domination. He is the Daedric Prince of Enslavement, the king of corruption, the father of vampires, and the ruler of Coldharbour, a realm designed to break the human spirit. Today we're diving deep into the psychological lore and horrifying philosophy of Molag Bal. Now you may be asking, who is Molag Bal? Well, I'll tell you. Molag Bal is one of the original Daedric princes. Ancient, primordial, a force older than kingdoms themselves. His name has different meanings depending on the culture, but nearly every interpretation points towards the same terrifying concept: tyranny, domination, and the crushing of free will. Unlike many Daedra, Molag Bal isn't driven by impulse. He's methodical, calculating, and strategic. He understands fear better than almost any being in existence, because fear is the first chain. His realm, Coldharbour, reflects this perfectly. At first glance, it resembles Tamriel, but twisted, rotting, and broken. A mockery of mortal existence. Cities crumble beneath endless storms. Souls wander in agony. Towers pierce the sky like prison spikes. Everything exists for one reason: to remind mortals that resistance is meaningless. Molag Bal does not merely want victory. He wants people to accept defeat. That distinction is what makes him terrifying, because destruction is temporary, but submission? Real quick before we keep going, I want to give a quick shout out to a project I genuinely think deserves more attention. A friend of mine has been putting a ton of heart and effort into their YouTube channel and creative work, and you can tell it's something they truly care about. So if you've been enjoying the content here and want to support another passionate creator trying to build something meaningful, I'll have their channel and Ko-fi linked below. Even checking it out for a minute, dropping a comment, or sharing it around can make a massive difference for small creators. Alright, back to the video. That changes who you are. Most villains in fantasy seek power. Molag Bal seeks ownership. That is the core of his identity. Everything he does revolves around domination. Physical domination, psychological domination, and spiritual domination. Even his followers are not truly followers. They are tools, slaves, and extensions of his will. This philosophy infects every story connected to him. Entire civilizations have fallen under his influence. Souls have been twisted beyond recognition. Heroes have been broken emotionally before they were ever defeated physically. Molag Bal understands a terrifying truth. If you can destroy someone's hope, their body eventually follows. That is why his methods are so disturbing. He humiliates, corrupts, and manipulates. He wants victims to feel powerless, because in Molag Bal's worldview, powerlessness is the natural state of mortals. And perhaps the darkest part is that he genuinely believes domination is strength. Mercy is weakness, compassion is failure, and freedom is all an illusion. In his eyes, existence itself is a hierarchy. Someone rules, someone suffers, and Molag Bal intends to stand at the very top. Forever. If Molag Bal's philosophy was not horrifying enough, his influence gave birth to one of Elder Scrolls' most feared curses: vampirism. According to ancient lore, Molag Bal created the first pure-blood vampires, not as a gift or blessing, but as an act of corruption. Vampires embody everything Molag Bal admires: predation, control, superiority, and the powerful feeding on the weak. Over time, entire bloodlines spread across Tamriel. Noble houses, hidden clans, and ancient monsters hid behind human faces. But the deeper horror of vampirism is psychological. Vampires often see mortals as lesser beings, livestock, or resources, and that mentality reflects Molag Bal perfectly. To him, empathy is meaningless. Domination is survival. This is why his corruption spreads so easily. Molag Bal offers something seductive: power, strength, and immortality. But every deal with him comes with invisible chains. The more power you gain, the less of yourself remains. During the events of Elder Scrolls Online, Molag Bal attempted something catastrophic: the Planemeld. His goal was simple: merge Coldharbour with Nirn, drag the mortal world into his realm, and turn all existence into an extension of his dominion. And when you truly think about it, the Planemeld reveals the most important truth about Molag Bal. He does not hate mortals. Hatred implies emotional attachment. Molag Bal views mortals as property, objects to be possessed. Entire nations reduced to trophies, entire populations transformed into slaves. The Planemeld was not just an invasion, it was cosmic enslavement. Even the environment of Coldharbour reinforces this idea. Chains descend from the heavens. The sky itself looks imprisoned. Landscapes are distorted versions of real places. It is a realm obsessed with imitation and theft. Molag Bal cannot create beauty, so he corrupts what already exists. That idea mirrors his entire character. He is not a creator. He is a corrupter, a being that feeds on the destruction of identity. Many Elder Scrolls villains are dangerous, but Molag Bal feels different because his horror is psychological. Alduin destroys worlds. Mehrunes Dagon brings chaos, but Molag Bal attacks identity itself. He wants to erase individuality and reduce people into extensions of his will. That is why so many stories involving him feel deeply uncomfortable. The fear surrounding Molag Bal is not simply death. It is the loss of self, losing control, losing freedom, becoming something unrecognizable. And strangely, that fear feels real because domination exists outside fantasy too. Tyrants, abusers, systems built on fear. Molag Bal represents the darkest extremes of control. The belief that power justifies suffering, that cruelty creates order, and that freedom should be crushed. He is evil stripped down to its purest form, the desire to own another living being. The darkest truth about Molag Bal is that he never truly disappears. As long as domination exists, his influence survives. Every act of corruption, every abuse of power, and every soul forced into submission echoes his philosophy. And that is why he remains one of the greatest villains in gaming history. Not because he is powerful, but because he represents something fundamentally terrifying: the destruction of free will. In a universe filled with gods and monsters, Molag Bal may be the closest thing Elder Scrolls has to pure evil. So now the question is Molag Bal truly the most evil Daedric Prince? Or is there something in Elder Scrolls even worse? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more deep lore dives into the darkest corners of Tamriel, subscribe, because the next story only gets darker.